Hello students, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Shmaila and today's topic of HCD is immunity. First of all, we will start the introduction and structure of antibody, functions of immunoglobulins, and what are the immunoglobulin classes and antigenic determinants of immunoglobulins, and what are the abnormal immunoglobulins. So first of all, you should know what is the definition of antibody. Antibody or immunoglobulin, it's a specialized glycoprotein produced from the activated B cells. These are plasma cells in response to an antigen that triggered its production. So first of all, you should know always the definition of antigen and antibody. These are the basic things. These are antibodies. These are also called immunoglobulins. These are basically glycoproteins and they are produced from activated B cells. What are activated B cells? B cells, these are basically white blood cells and they are produced in the bone marrow and then they come to mature in the spleen and where they are activated by the antigen, and these are the plasma cells. Basically, they on activation of B cells, they produce antibodies. Okay, on electrophoresis of serum wave, we can find the albumin, globulins, alpha globulins, beta globulins, and gamma globulins. And antibodies, they are located in, where are these located antibodies? These are located in gamma globulin fraction. So this is the picture. As you can see, this is a albumin. This spike is showing albumin, and these are the globulins. Globulins, these are, what are the globulins? Globulins, there will be alpha 1, alpha 2, beta, and gamma globulin. So also called immunoglobulins because they immunologically react with the antigen. So antibody and immunoglobulin used interchangeably. Immunoglobulin J constitute about 20 to 25% of total serum proteins, and we divided these immunoglobulins into 5 classes, that is immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin M, D and E. So first of all, we will see what is the structure of antibody. Antibody, these are Y-shaped heterodimer composed of 4 polypeptide chains. 2 identical chains, these are called L chains of molecular weight 25,000 each, and 2 identical heavy chains. Heavy chains, these are called also known as H chains, each having molecular weight 5,000 or more. So this is a generalized structure of antibody. As you can see, these are, first of all, on the upper side there is a light chain. This is a light chain, and this is heavy chain, and this is between light chain and heavy chain. There is a hinge point, and this is the antibody binding site, FAB. So H and L chains, these all 4 H and L chains, they are bound to each other by disulfide bonds and non-covalent interactions such as salt linkages, hydrogen bond and hydrophobic bond. All chains, they have 2 ends and a minor terminal, that is जिसपे NH3 end लगा होता है, and a carboxyl terminal end, and there are 5 classes of H chains and 2 classes of L chains. So we will see what's the difference between A chains and L chains. In A chain, there are 5 classes and they are structurally and antigenically distinct, while in L chains, there are 2 types. Okay, there is kappa and lambda named after Korngold. Okay, and then next point is there is each designated by Greek letter. In humans, L chains, they are 60% kappa and 40% lambda. And in H chains, there are 5 classes of immunoglobulins, that is immunoglobulin G, A, M, D and E. While in L chains, these are light chains. Both light chains of antibody molecules, they should be same type, either kappa or lambda and never both. So on the A chains, क्या है? What is the? They are classified based on amino acid sequence of heavy chains. Type of heavy chain in each immunoglobulin class and heavy chain type. In immunoglobulin class, we call them IgG, and in heavy chain type, we call them gamma. It's the same IgA, that is alpha, and in IgM there is mu, and in IgD there is delta, and in Ig there is epsilon. So variable and constant region. What are variable and constant region? Each H and L chain, they are comprises of two regions. These are variable region, constant regions, and depending on whether amino acid sequences of the regions, they show variable or uniform pattern among different antibodies. The first one, 110 amino acid residues near amino acid terminal end. As I have already told you the structure. So on the near amino acid terminal end and end of both L and H chains, they constitute variable regions, CL and DH respectively. So it represents antigen binding site of AB, and they are hypervariable region. Some zones like hotspots within variable regions showing relatively higher variability in amino acid sequences. Also called complementarity determining regions. They form antigen binding site, and 3 hotspots in L and 4 hotspots in H. So you should also know what is the paratope. Paratope is a site on hypervariable regions that make actual contact with the epitope. Constant regions, remaining part of immunoglobulin molecules, and its length is 104 amino acid for L chain and 330 amino acid for gamma, alpha and delta heavy chains, and 440 amino acid for mu and epsilon heavy chains. Amino acid sequence of constant regions shows uniform pattern. A single antibody has two identical H chain and two identical L chains. H and L chain domains, further folded into domains. Within a domain, a loop-like structure of 60 amino acid is present, which is formed due to an intra-chain disulfide bond. And in light chain contains only one variable and one constant domain. And heavy chain, where there is one variable and 3 to 4 constant domains. So this is our immunoglobulins domains. Okay, then hinge region in heavy chain, gamma, alpha and delta, the junction formed between CH1 and CH2 domain is equal to hinge region, and they are rich in proline and cysteine, and they are very flexible. It allows immunoglobulin molecule to assume different positions, and it also helps to antibody reach towards the antigen, and they are also sensitive to various enzymatic digestion. Okay, then next is enzymatic digestion, generates various fragments. The number one, there is a papain digestion. They cleave immunoglobulin above disulfide bridge of hinge region, and it results in 3 fragments each. 2 FAB fragments, they are soluble fragments which bind to antigen. And 1 FC fragment, this is insoluble and it is crystallized in fold. So this is a picture of enzymatic digestion of immunoglobulins. Next is pepsin digestion. Okay, it cleaves immunoglobulin molecule at point below the disulfide bridge of hinge. ये जरा चेक पेज ओपन. So 1 FAB and 2 fragments, 2 FAB subunits, they bond together, and there are many smaller fragments. What are the functions of immunoglobulin? This is very, very important, and you should know the functions of all the immunoglobulins. As you know, there are 5 types of immunoglobulins. So antigen binding, by antigen binding is always at the FAB region. And primary function of an antibody, it protects the host, and FAB fragment, it bears variable region involved in interaction with the antigen, and valency of antibody is equal to number of FAB region it possesses. Effector functions by Fc region, most of time binding of antibody and antigen, it produces no effect, and variety of secondary effector functions they are produced, like fixation is fixation of complement, and there may be binding to various cell types. So immunoglobulins, based on 5 types of heavy chain, there are 5 classes of hemoglobin. There are 5 classes of immunoglobulins. Number 1, immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin M, immunoglobulin E, and immunoglobulin D. And we will study all the functions of this immunoglobulin. This is our properties of various immunoglobulins. This is our table. Okay, now separately we will see first of all what is the function of immunoglobulin G. Immunoglobulin G, they are about 70 to 80% of total immunoglobulins in body, and makes maximum daily production and longest half-life of 23 days. And it has the highest serum concentration, and it has 4 subclasses. 4 subclasses means they are further divided into immunoglobulin G1, G2, G3, and G4. And subclasses, they vary in biological function, length, hinge region, and number of disulfide bridges. So what is the function of immunoglobulin G? Immunoglobulin G, the number 1, it can cross the placenta, and they provide immunity to fetus and newborn. And they are complement fixing. Complement fixing is Fc region, it can bind to complement factors, and they activate the classical pathway of complement system. And they also cause the phagocytosis, like immunoglobulin G1 and G3, they bind to Fc receptors on phagocytes with high affinity, and it enhances the phagocytosis of antigen bound to it. And they mediate precipitation and neutralization reaction. And it also plays major role in neutralization of toxins, and it can easily diffuse into extravascular space. And it is also raised in after long time following infection, and it represents chronic or past infection. So always this point is very important. It is raised after long time following infection. If there is any infection, it will be immunoglobulin Ig will be present, and it represents if there is in some there is a IgG is positive, it will represent a chronic or past infection. And coagglutination, it binds to protein A of Staph aureus. And the next is immunoglobulin M. It has a high molecular weight, number 1, and second, they present only in intravascular compartment, and they are not in body fluids or secretions, and they exist in monomeric and pentameric forms, and 10 FAB regions, and 10 it has a 10 valencies. Function. IgM, it always represents a acute infection. First antibody to be produced following the infection. So IgM, it represents a acute infection, while IgG, it represents a chronic or previous past infections. Okay, then it also represents acute or recent infections, and also called primary immune response antibody. And complement fixing in it, it most potent activator of classical complement pathway and multiple complement binding sites, like 5 Fc regions. They are present on B cell surface, and it serves as B cell receptor for antigen binding. And it acts as opsonins. Opsonins means it binds as an antigen, which is then easily recognized and removed. And it also has a fetal immunity. first antibody to be synthesized fetal immunity में. What is in fetal immunity? First antibody to be synthesized in fetal life, and it is basically indicator of intrauterine infection, and it also protects against intravascular organisms and also mediates agglutination that is 20 times more effective in bacterial agglutination than immunoglobulin G. Next is immunoglobulin A. This is second most abundant immunoglobulin, and it constitutes about 10 to 15% of total serum immunoglobulin. And it has two classes, immunoglobulin A1 and immunoglobulin A2. And serum immunoglobulin A and secretory immunoglobulin A. Okay, now let's see what is in serum immunoglobulin A. Serum immunoglobulin A basically interacts with the Fc receptors expressed on immune effector cells to initiate the various functions like ADTC, degranulation of immune cells. And then the second, there is a secretory immunoglobulin A. It is dimeric in nature, and two immunoglobulin A monomeric units, they are joined by J chains. And all they are also secretory component present, and their location what is the location? They are found in milk, saliva, and tears, etc. Okay, function, they mediate local or mucosal immunity, and they are effective against bacteria like Salmonella, Vibrio, Neisseria, etc. And breast milk is rich in secretory immunoglobulin A, and they are provide the protection to infant gut. So these are the very small points, and you should remember the functions and these points of all the immunoglobulins. They can be asked in your MCQs. Okay, next is immunoglobulin E. Immunoglobulin E, this is the lowest serum concentration, and it has the shortest half-life and minimum daily production. And affinity for surface of tissue cells is mast cells. As you can, you will see, they are immunoglobulin E. It is always present in allergic infections. And what are the functions? They are potent mediator of type 1 hypersensitivity. Okay, in type 1 hypersensitivity, IgE will always come, and then they are elevated in helminthic infection. Okay, so IgD. So next is immunoglobulin D. They are found as membrane immunoglobulin on surface of B cell, and it acts as B cell receptor along with immunoglobulin M. So next is antigenic determinants of immunoglobulins. Okay, since antibodies, they are glycoproteins, and they can themselves function as potent immunogens, and they can also induce antibody response in hosts other than parent host. Not entire immunoglobulin molecule is immunogenic, and they also contain antigenic determinants at specific sites, and they are based on location of antigen determinants. Immunoglobulin molecule divided into isotopes, idiotopes, and allotopes. So next, what is isotope? All 5 immunoglobulin and their subclasses, they are called isotopes. Okay, remember, all 5 immunoglobulin and their subclasses, they are called isotopes, and they vary from each other in amino acid sequence of constant region of their heavy chain. So next, there is idiotope. What are idiotope? Type unique amino acid sequence present in paratope region of one member of a specific antigen. It acts as antigenic determinant to other member of the same species, and such antigenic determinants is equal to idiotopes. Okay, sum total of all idiotopes is equal to idiotype. So these are the antigenic determinants of immunoglobulins. This is the idiotypic determinants, and this is hypervariable region, and this is a paratope. Same, this is the allotypic determinants, and this is the isotypic determinant. So next is allotype. Allotype antigenic. These are antigenic specificities which distinguish immunoglobulin of same class between groups of individuals in the same species. They are called allotypic specificity. And then anti-allotype antibodies, they are found in sera containing RA factor. Okay, next is what are the abnormal immunoglobulins? The abnormal immunoglobulins, these are Benson's proteins. Number one, they are Benson's proteins. These are produced in neoplastic condition of plasma cell, called in plasma cell, we also call multiple myeloma, because in multiple myeloma there is increased number of plasma cells. So also called the light chain disease, and they are cancerous. They are not benign. They are cancerous plasma cells produced in excess light chain, and they are accumulated in patient's serum and in patient's urine. So second abnormal immunoglobulin is Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia. They are B cell lymphoma, and they are produced and they produce excess immunoglobulin M. And then there is heavy chain disease and cryoglobulinemia, and it may care what is blood contains the cryoglobulin, and they are associated with multiple myeloma and hepatitis C infection. Okay, next we will see a little bit about immunity. Okay, first of all, you should know what is the definition of immunity. Okay, immunity, what is immunity? Immunity is the ability of the body to protect against all types of foreign bodies like bacteria, virus, and toxic substances which enter the body. As it protects us from disease, it is also called the disease resistance. And lack of immunity is known as susceptibility, and immunity is done by immune system, which is a complex network of lymphoid organs such as bone marrow, spleen, and thymus. Okay, basically there are two types of immunity. Number one is innate immunity and acquired immunity. Okay, number one, in innate immunity, always remember, it is innate means it is always inborn. It is also called the natural or native immunity. It is always inborn. Just remember, it is always inborn. And it consists of mechanisms that exist before infection, and they are capable of rapid responses to microbes. So it is comprises four types of defense barriers. Number one is anatomical barriers, physiological barriers, and phagocytic barriers, blood proteins, and cytokines. Okay, first we will see what are the anatomical barriers. In anatomical barriers, number one, the most and the largest thing is that is skin. So mechanical barriers retards what the function of skin. Mechanical barrier retards entry of microbes, and number two, it also acidic environment. It will retard the growth of microbes. And second is mucous membrane. So mucus entraps foreign microorganisms. Okay, next is physiological barriers. Physiological barriers means number one, there is the temperature, body temperature. So body temperature, what will do? Body temperature and fever, they respond and they respond to inhibit the growth of some pathogens. And low pH, the acidic pH of small, it kills most ingested microorganisms. And then there is phagocytic barriers. What are the phagocytic barriers? These are neutrophils, macrophages, and natural killer cells. What is their function? They basically ingest and destroy microbes by endocytosis and phagocytosis. And next there is a inflammatory barrier. What's the function of inflammatory barrier? It may tissue damage and infection. They induce leakage of vascular fluids and containing the serum protein with antibacterial activity. So what are the types of so further, what are the types of innate immunity? Innate immunity, it is of three types. Number one is species immunity, racial immunity, and individual immunity. Okay, number one, there is a species immunity. Species immunity is the total immunity shown by all members of a species against pathogens. For example, birds, and immunity to tetanus, And second, there is a racial immunity. In racial immunity is that in which various races show marked difference in their resistance to certain infectious diseases. And next, there is a individual immunity. In individual immunity, it is very specific for each and every individual, despite having same racial background and opportunity for exposure. Okay, second, first was the innate immunity, and the second there is a acquired immunity. What is acquired immunity? It is acquired or adaptive immunity is the immunity that is developed by the host in its body after exposure to suitable antigen or after transfer of antibodies or lymphocyte from an immune donor. So, what are the characteristics of acquired immunity? Number one, there is antigenic specificity, and there is diversity, and there is immunologic memory, and number four, there is self or non-self recognition. Okay, next there is what are the types of acquired immunity? So acquired immunity is of two types. Acquired immunity is of basically we divide it into active and passive immunity. What is active immunity? Active immunity kya hai? It is induced by natural exposure to a pathogen or by vaccination. Okay, then it can be categorized into two types, and naturally acquired and artificially acquired active immunity. So next there is a passive immunity. What is in passive immunity? Passive immunity is achieved by transfer of immune products such as antibody or sensitized T cells. Okay, antibody or sensitized T cells from an immune individual to non-immune one. It is of two types. We divided into naturally acquired and artificially acquired passive immunity. So what is the mechanism of active immunity? Body's immune system, they provide protection by synthesizing the antibodies or immunoglobulins in response to an antigen. And primary immune response, it takes place when the host is attacked by certain microbes for first time. Always remember when there is exposure to a microbe, certain microbe for the first time, the antibodies, they start to generate after the certain period, as the binding of an antigen with its particular antibody is very specific. And secondly, when will be the secondary immune response? It occurs when an individual is being attacked by the same antigen subsequently. It is a rapid process as compared to the primary immune response. If primary immune response, it will take some time, but the secondary immune response, it will not take some time. It is a rapid process. So acquired active immune response takes two distinct forms, that is humoral and cell mediated response. Okay, then in the last, there is a diagram showing the active immunity. So in humoral immunity and cellular immunity, in humoral immunity, you can see there's a extracellular microbes, for example, bacteria. First they come, and then there is a B lymphocyte. Okay, this is B lymphocyte. B lymphocyte. Then they secrete the what will they do? They secreted. These are the secreted antibodies. Secreted antibodies. Then they will combine, and then what will they do? They will neutralization and lysis and phagocytosis. Okay, phagocytosis. And in what is the on the other side? What is in cellular immunity? In cellular immunity, as the name indicates, there are some intracellular microbes like viruses. Viruses, what will happen next? Then the antigen present. These are the antigen presenting cells. Okay, in antigen presenting cell, there's a helper T cell and helper T cell. There on the helper T cell, there are some helper T receptors, and they are processed and presented. What they will do, and they will process and present the antigen. Then they will cause the release of cytokines. Cytokines and then they will cause a proliferation and activation of effector cells, cytotoxic T cells, natural killer cells, and macrophages. And then at the last step, there is the lysis of infected cells. Okay, thank you. If you have any question or queries, you can ask in third year group. Aisha Arshad. Aisha Arshad, can you hear me? Jannat Mahmood. ये कर बच्चों का सबको अनम्यूट किया हुआ कोई भी Aisha Arshad. Hmm. And Neha Bilal, can you hear me?